And hello, hello, hello. Hi, friends. Good morning, good morning. Here I am in the garage. So it's coffee and tea in the garage. Dad's still sleeping. Dad had a fall this week. Ugh. There's never a dull moment here at the Bookstaver house. So, fortunately, he's okay. Unfortunately, he doesn't learn his lesson. But then again, some of us do repeat the same things over and over again. It's the definition of insanity. That being said, just so you guys know, just a little update. So I have this like little lip here. I don't know if you can see it. There's probably a glare between the garage floor and the outside of the garage. Oh boy. So, Dad, I know he's lonely. He came to live with us because he was lonely. Mom's gone since March of 2018. So he kind of got to the point where, even though we lived in New York and my brother was a few blocks away and my son was a few blocks away and my other son's a few towns away, my aunt came here, my cousins came here, and they were a few blocks away as well. Not that everybody saw each other every day or on a regular basis, but he's been lonely. And I get it. And now with us even, going out of the house and doing a little more work outside of the house, we're leaving him on a regular basis. And I know that hurts, but unfortunately I have to make a living, right? So you guys understand that, right? I can't sit home and babysit and play cards and do all the fishing and photography and train stuff that Dad wants to do. I'm trying to get him involved like with the community. But every time we think we're at a turning point, something goes wrong. So the other day, I had Terminex coming because we haven't signed a contract with any pest control. And here, when you live in the South, you have to have pest control. I knew that from when I lived down in Little River, that you at least have to have a quarterly bug treatment inside and out. Like down in Little River, we had these huge palmetto bugs. Haven't seen, let's knock on wood. Do we have any wood here? I haven't seen any big palmetto bugs here in the South, but that being said, I've seen a couple of creepy crawly things, and I'm like, we have to call. We've been here since May 12th. I have no idea when the other woman had her last pest control treatment. It seems like everybody in this community uses Terminex. They're familiar with the homes. I know they're probably a little bit more pricey, whatever the word is, but I don't know. I just feel like I will be better protected. It's like having State Farm instead of ABC brokerage for the insurance on my car or my house. I just feel like I'll be paid out if God forbid something happens. So, whoopsie. Long story short of it all. And I was getting to an point. Buicks, remember? Junebug, what's going on, girl? Hi, honey. Hi, Francine. Hi, sweetheart. Hope you are well. Hope Matt's doing well. I did get a notification that Matt was going live one day. I did pop in for quite a minute. I think I said hi. I don't remember, but hope you guys are well. Anyway, that being said, one of the big things in the South here, like we had in the Northeast, Long Island, because it was sandy, it was wet, there's always a problem with termites. If any of you have ever had termites, Rob had termites in his very first home. I think my father had termites way back when in his house and got a Terminex contract and things like that. So what they do is they plant these bait traps where the bugs go in, but they never come out. I think that's another advertisement for somebody else, but I can't remember. Maybe Orkin. I don't know. But anyway, I got a quote and I was like, woo. I was like, oh my God, I think it was like $450, right? When you sell an ice cream, you're not making $450 a day, at least not in the beginning. So it's like, shit. All right, let's figure this one out, right? So, long story short of it, I said to my father, what did you pay for your termite contracts? And, pest control, different story. A couple of bucks every quarter, it's fine. Under $100. So I'm okay with that. It's all good. But I'm like, ugh. And then they want to be paid up front. And the lady before us didn't have this system. He told me they did. And then when he came, he's like, oh, there's no bait traps here. So we have to start from scratch. Yada, yada, yada. But he did say he pre-treated this home back because the builders were required to prove some kind of pest mediation as well. All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. You guys probably, if you're familiar with pest control, you're familiar with pest control. If you're not, I'm sorry to bore you. But I asked my father a simple question. Of course, my father's like, oh, I don't know what I paid. I don't remember. I think I paid monthly. I have to look. He went through this whole thing. I'm like, okay. Meanwhile, he didn't get up and go look for the information right away. This was like a breakfast conversation, I think. So then, of course, it came to about 11:30, which is the time Rob and I kind of get the truck in order, get the ice cream in order, make sure we have everything, unplug the truck, plug it into the generator, do all these things. So I come back in and I'm like, okay, Dad. He's still sitting at the kitchen table because now that he's pretty much, hi, KK, hi, honey. Now pretty much that he is almost done with his shredding and his boxes and stuff, he's really chomping at the bit to get the railroad started. So he was sitting drawing some Venn diagrams at the table. That's an inside joke. Someday you'll hear more about Venn diagrams. But anyway, you really don't want to hear about Venn diagrams. Now he jumps up. Now it's important that he finds out what he paid for this pest control. I'm like, Dad, don't worry about it right now. We're leaving. No. I'm like, Dad, we have to get on the road, right? This is hours later. But, it's that thing in the back of his mind, I think, also that we're leaving him for the day. And I'm sorry about that, but we do, unfortunately, have to earn a living. So we come outside. We're getting ready, getting in the truck. And here he comes outside the back door, tracking way, of the truck. I'm like, Dad, he's got this piece of paper in his hands. I'm like, Dad, I don't need it right now. Terminix is coming. It wasn't coming today, right? I'm like, that's fine. Don't worry about it. So he proceeds to still tell me what the story was, what he was paying, and the whole fine things. All right, Dad, fine. Just leave the paper on the table. We'll talk about it when we get home for dinner. So with that, of course, he turns around and he trips on that small little lip on the edge of my garage. And I watched him go down. And I can't see him because I'm sitting high in the truck and Robbie's on the better side where he can see him. So Robbie jumps out of the truck. I'm freaking out that he fell. Oh my God, he hit his head. I can't even, I just was like, this is, no. And he didn't even need to be out here. So Robbie jumps out. Robbie can't get him up. I have to get out. I get him in back of him. Now he's like literally, ouch, ouch, ouch. I'm like, did you hit your head? He's like, no. Now, as you guys know, we've been to hand therapy. So, of course, what side does he fall on? What side did he try to protect himself with? His left side where he's got the bad hand. He's got the bad, if you guys don't know, he had a emulsion. I think that's what they call it. He had his palm detached in a printing accident at the Daily News many, many years ago. That they had to fix that. So he said everything wrong on the left side of his body. And that basically is what happened. Thank God did not hit his head. So we get him up. We get him in the house. He's like, just sit me in the chair. So I sat him in the recliner in the living room. He's like, bring me a bottle of water. Bring me some ice. Put some ice on it. Sat on the ice. He felt like he broke his ass. And he's like, I'm fine. I'll give me my phone. We put his phone next to him. He's like, you guys got to go out. You do what you have to do, which we did. And he was fine. He was okay. He was just in pain. So I called him about halfway through the day. He's like, maybe you can. He's like, I left the mom's walkers and everything back behind, donated them, whatever he did. And so did we, because we had a bunch of them from Robbie or even myself, I think. No, I had crutches, but when I had broken my ankle, but whatever. Nobody had a walker here now. My aunt, my uncle has Parkinson's. I'm thinking, oh, maybe she has it, but I didn't want to call her in the middle of the day because she'd be running over here. I didn't need her over here in the middle of all this. We were going to take care of it. So he says to me, but I think I'm going to have to go for an x-ray because I think I broke something. Great. So I screamed probably for about another half hour to 45 minutes. And I said, you know what? I don't want to sit in the emergency room all night. Let's just cut the day short. Let's go home. Let's figure this out. Let's see what's going on. And I'm not stopping, even if it's on a Facebook Marketplace for free on a walker, because I know like people can practically give that stuff away. I'm not getting it because let's go to the emergency room. Let's get him, evaluated, and then we'll see. They might give him a walker. They may tell him to stay in a wheelchair. They may put him in a rehab. I have no idea. So he lands up getting an x-ray. The x-ray is inconclusive. They had to do a CAT scan, and they weren't sure because with the x-ray, they weren't sure if what they were seeing was a hairline pubic bone fracture or it was an older injury. So they had to do this CAT scan. So he landed up having an inverted, I don't know. Whatever it was, he broke his ass and his pelvis. I mean, I'm not laughing. It's not funny. It's my father, and I'm just like, Dad, this was so unnecessary. This was so unnecessary that you needed to chase us out of the house to give me a price on what you paid. And I even said that to him potentially a few years ago because it's 2024, and knowing him, this is a receipt from 1999. I don't know. But anyway. Whatever he did with this fractured pelvic pubic bone, it's, thank God, does not need surgery. We actually got an appointment right away yesterday for the orthopedic surgeon, who looked about 12, by the way. Swear to God, he was younger than Brian. And actually may have been younger than Emmett. I don't know. But anyway, he seemed like a baby. But that's what all doctors look like, I guess, babies. No physical therapy, no surgery. Pain is tolerated. They had given him a little bit of painkillers from the emergency room. We didn't ask for any more yesterday. Daddy's always afraid to take any kind of, he's so anal about getting addicted to anything. Like, he has one beer. He has, one ice cream. Like, there are things like that just keep him. He's very, very, it's the arm. It's the service in him. It's, he's very regimented. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing. It's why he's living at 85 years old also. But if he doesn't knock it off, he's not going to be living past 85 because he's got to stop this nonsense. And I call it nonsense. Right? You guys know nonsense. Good morning, Cindy. Junebug, is that termite price a one-time thing? No, it's once a year, but it's $450 for the first year and it's $300 for every year after that. So I don't know. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. So anyway, he's here. He's sleeping right now. We're trying to get him to at least take the medication before he goes to bed so he's not in so much pain. But the doctor wants him to use the walker and to put pressure on it as much as he can tolerate it. It's going to take 6 weeks to heal. They don't want to do any physical therapy until that point. They want him to try to move and do what he can on his own. It is what it is. So we were supposed to go this coming week for teeth. We were starting a whole project of teeth, and that's not happening. We canceled that. Actually, Friday was his, I think, second to last hand therapy session until he was reevaluated for that. We canceled that. We told him, let's see if they're going to cause us to go to physical therapy for this. If not, we'll call the reschedule. So we'll have to reschedule that and the teeth. And it's like, oh God, never a dull moment. But anyway, he's okay. He is okay. Thank God didn't hit his head, and he is in some pain, but he's just going to have to get through it. He's yesterday I wanted to kill him again because he keeps forgetting about the walker, and he got up from the kitchen table and turned to come towards the kitchen and nearly took another header. So I'm like, Dad, the walker, the walker, the walker, the walker. So that's the only thing that makes me paranoid about leaving the house. So now I got to make sure he's got his phone, his walker's right there. It's like, oh. Anyway, I guess this is what they talk about. Leaving or your parents becoming children again. I don't know. But anyway, take care of yourselves, people. Sucks getting old. Even at my age, there's aches and pains. Not as bad as they could be, but they do happen. So, and I almost took a header on this lip the other day. I don't know. It's like just a stupid little, like it's small. So I think it's even more than if it was a big ledge, I said to Rob the other day, I said, it's a good thing, honestly, we had that bathtub change before he got here because I can't even imagine how many times he would have fell already. I just can't. Anyway, all right, enough of that nonsense. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate it. Thank you guys for being here. I did tell you that we were going to discuss a few things about eBay and Poshmark and whatnot. Anything else that you want. And we're still going to talk about the potential, if any of you want to jump in on the auction video, buy it now segment that I'm going to be offering as a deal. I might have a job taking care of an elder man 2 days a week. Oh, awesome, KK. That's awesome. Some people like that stuff. Some people don't. Some people like taking care of kids. Some people don't. Some people like the health care. Some people don't. Some people can stand the sight of blood, not stand the sight of blood, or anything else that goes along with any of that stuff. Changing diapers, whether it be a toddler, infant, or an elderly person. Those things are to each his own. That's why some people go into the healthcare profession and some people don't. All right. Anyway, one of the things I did tell you, and Junebug, I hope you're still here because I am going to share your and you guys have to tell me if you can see this. Shout out to June for 1,843 listings. And there's one thing that I did notice that we really haven't spoken about. And let me make sure you guys can see this because I don't know if I put this on my screen first and foremost. Let's see. Yes, I did put this on my screen. Yes, this is my kind of job. All right, good for you. All right, let's make this larger. And let's see if you guys, all right, that's good. All right. So just a couple of things. I think what we'll do is we'll go through some of these tabs across the top because I think a lot of you don't dive deep into some of this and you just go into listing and you put your stuff up and you just know how to go into each listing, or you know how to migrate through the actives, the unsolds, and all of this on the left-hand side, but you don't necessarily always go across on the top. So maybe we'll talk about a few of those so that you guys can see some of that as well. And then you guys let me know. Just scored for 9 hours a day. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. So like your overview is just this screen, right? It tells you what your sales have been. It tells you if you're top rated. You can scroll down these screens and you can see all kinds of data about your last feedback and all of that stuff. There's some shortcuts here. There's some announcements. If you ever want to go back and see announcements, you can go and find sellers and lots more monthly limits. Wow, Jimbug, 5 million more items you can list. Get to it, girl. All right. Then we can look at orders. And then one of the reasons I'm coming to this screen, and quite honestly, is because June had asked me about looking at this and finding out about an item that she canceled and refunded the buyer, but it's not showing on her end. It keeps coming up about shipping the item. Now, June, I don't see where you see shipping the item. And there's a couple of reasons why that. Hi, Jenny, honey. How are you, sweetheart? Welcome in. There's a couple of reasons why you might see that. All right. In the beginning, when you have a request for a return or you need to cancel an item, they don't go away right away. They just don't. eBay just leaves them in queue for whatever reason. And you kind of it finally went away after 2 weeks. Yeah, that's a little longer than norm. But what happens is, quite honestly, is that if you come over here to orders, you can go to all orders, you can go to awaiting payment, awaiting shipment, paid and ship, cancellations, returns, requests and disputes, the shipping labels, and all your selling. So if you ever have a cancellation, a return, or any kind of dispute or anything, these are the three, kind of things. Now, you can look here, status for open cancellations. So anything that a buyer has requested a cancellation that you have not addressed yet, you could go to cancellation requests here. You can go to cancellations in progress, which I suspect if we would have looked at this June, I would assume that's maybe where we saw that. And then you can always decline somebody to cancel an order, and that could be because you shipped it already or anything. You can also look down for the last 7 days, the last 30 days, the last 60. It automatically defaults to 90. And then you can go to 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months. Okay. Now, the other thing besides cancellations in this order, in these orders, can be returns, right? Because we all get returns. And again, you can look at the opens, the open replacement, the open returns. So if this is still opened or returns in progress, which a lot of us will see, especially if you have returns, or if the buyer has shipped it back, you'll see it there. And then if you've gotten it back, you can look at it there to verify that you've gotten it back so that you can kind of, close that and take a look at that. You can also search by the buyer's username, the item ID, or the return ID. A lot of us have to go and look that stuff up. That's kind of hard to do that, but you can do that. And you could kind of go out and look at, and if you see, like if we go out for a whole 18-month period, there'll be a total of 14. And again, guys, this is not any reflection on June. Mine are probably greater than this. Because it all has to do with the fact that we take free returns. And when you take free returns, and I guarantee if you see some of these, you're definitely going to see some clothing involved here because clothing is the biggest return. So before we move on out of orders, let me see if any of you guys have any questions or want me to show any of those at all. I have been saying I have to list things. However, I hear stories of people scamming the sellers. I feel like it's a lot of trouble. This one person was getting a lot of trouble from the buyer. All right, Francine. So let's talk about that. I'm going to unshare my screen for 2 minutes because I want to talk to you guys. Listen, good morning, Kevin. Hi, Gayleen, honey. Good morning. There it is. That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so that's what you got to do. I'll go back to it, June, but I really want to address Francine's concern here because I have seen this comment time and time again. I have been selling on eBay since 1999, literally, under my father's account, under my son's account, and eventually created my own like in 2006. Because I didn't have, and I want you guys to listen to this very closely, I didn't have any feedback. Now, my father was buying on eBay. My father did a couple of sales on eBay. My son did a lot of sales on eBay, was buying a little bit from eBay. Now, this is my oldest son. He's going to be 40. So, 20-something years ago, that's where he sat, right? So at the end of the day, you got to think about this and you got to say, well, who are the people going to scam more? Somebody with feedback, somebody with no feedback, somebody who has sold things before, somebody who hasn't sold things before, somebody who has a lot of high-end items listed, somebody who has bread and butter items listed. Let me tell you something. The scammers have a radar. The minute a newbie comes to town, that's the person they're going to scam first. Number one. Number two is, if you've never sold a Louis Vuitton purse, do not list it as your first item. Sell this beautiful handmade bag that you created yourself. Thank you so much, Junebug. Okay? And know that it's not going to be something, number one, you're going to get a Vero on, and we'll talk more about what a Vero is. And number two, something that a scammer is technically going to target, all right? Especially if you have no feedback and it's the first thing you're listing. Oh, I have this old mug laying around the house. It's really cute. What's it going to sell for? $10, $15 maybe? I don't know. List that. Don't list a $400 electronic scanner. I don't know. I'm just saying. There are things that you can avoid in the beginning. And what your goal is to set is to create some feedback, to create some sales, to make sure that you're not looking like a newbie. You can also purchase some items on eBay. I ask you guys, and you guys please do it. Every time I go live now, as long as we're not doing an auction, please drop your eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, whatnot, Facebook Marketplace, YouTubes, whatever you want to drop your link so that people can follow you. And if they need something, oh, shoot, you know what? I need a scale. I need a small scale. I'm doing jewelry and I've got to weigh in grams and I've got to do my rings and my little costume stuff. Sell costume jewelry first, not sterling silver, not 14 karat, 18 karat gold, 24 karat gold. No, 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 no. Do not list these items first. Do not, do not, do not. Go on eBay. Go on Poshmark, go on Mercari, and look for items that you personally need, even to start your reselling business. There's plenty of items out there. And if you can't find them, my Amazon link is in the description below. And please support me. And if you need something on Amazon, click on any of the links, search your item up, and purchase it through my link. I do get a small commission. You pay no more from what Amazon offers. There's no extra money involved. And I do appreciate you guys helping me out. Same thing if you want to sign up for Poshmark, Mercari, any of the platforms. I do earn a commission, and so do you. So please, if you're going to sign up, I do appreciate the support. Anyway, that being said, guys, you need to create feedback in order for scammers not to come after you. That's not saying you're not going to be scammed. Believe me, after years of selling on eBay, I feel like every once in a while, somebody's scamming me or attempting to scam me. Now, there are some other tricks of the trade. I am the one who gets to leave feedback for the buyer. Is there a way to remind someone to like to get in touch? Okay, so there is, as a seller, there is a way that you could send out to your buyers who have not left feedback. I did that in the very beginning. I don't do it anymore, but I did do that in the very beginning, kind of just sent out, hey, reminder, would you kindly leave feedback? Now, I did receive 1 or 2 responses, and I will tell you it does happen, and says, honestly, you don't want me to leave feedback. And I'm good with that too, right? I'm not going to push the issue. Maybe they just weren't happy. They just aren't complainers. Like maybe the color was off, or maybe it stopped working, or something happened and they just weren't going to deal with it. They didn't return it, but they don't. I know everyone has to start at 0 feedback. Keeps me from starting eBay. Right, Kevin. Kevin, but you don't have zero feedback if you go on there and purchase a few things. Hi, Gloria. How are you, sweetheart? And again, look around the house. Look for things potentially that you don't wear anymore, things that you don't use anymore. Go in your bookshelves, books you don't care to hold on to anymore. You read them enough. Hats you don't wear, gloves you don't wear, scarves you don't wear. Things now, if you don't want to be a clothes seller and you don't want to be all that, that doesn't mean you can't buy that stuff either. Let's say you're going to a nice event and you want to buy a nice blouse or a nice dress shirt. Go on eBay and purchase one and make sure that A, you leave feedback, and B, the buyer leaves feedback. Yes, always support your fellow resellers. So guys, please, reminding you again to drop your links. And then if somebody drops their eBay store, somebody drops their Poshmark or Mercari, it's very easy to save it as a favorite. And that's what you want to do on eBay. And I'll show you how to do that. We'll go back in a minute and I'll show you how to save somebody as a favorite. As you can, and then you can go back in time and time again to see what those sellers have. It also helps you to see what others are selling, what they're selling for, maybe some trending items, and say, oh, gee, look, Gloria's got a lot of Y2K stuff. I wonder where she's sourcing that stuff from. Can always reach out to Gloria and say, hey, Gloria, I saw some Y2K stuff. Where are you getting that stuff? There's this guy named Brian, Mr. Buys a Lot. He sells on Whatnot, YouTube, and eBay. Maybe you want to check him out. Yes, exactly, Jenny. And thank you, Gloria. See, there's Gloria's eBay store, guys. Click into Gloria's eBay store, save it as a favorite, and go check out what Gloria has. The other thing you want to look at is stuff that you're probably not going to get scammed on, right? If you, Gloria, I mentioned the clothes. Jenny sells a lot of media. Media necessarily not. Media, maybe video games I'd watch out for in the beginning. But if you're going to sell a DVD for $4, $8, $10, depending on, what it is, come in a little bit lower. I don't want you guys to bottom out the market, but I also want you guys to make some sales. So, Gloria, who has larger feedback than you, is probably going to be a store that's going to be recognized more than yours. I didn't realize that feedback is so important. It is, Francine, in order for you not to get scammed, number one. And number two, obviously, it will persuade a buyer whether or not they're going to buy from you or not, right? If you don't have great feedback, they may not necessarily buy from you. If they see the same book on your site and somebody else's site, and it's $5 on yours and $6 on somebody else's, but you have an 88% feedback and that other person has 100% feedback, they might be willing to spend the extra dollar. T, I've been ending listings and doing sell similar, and it's making sales increase. Woohoo! Yay, Gloria! Awesome! I'm so happy and proud of you for doing that. That's great. So that's a way to get around, because to be honest with you, Francine, and I'm not calling you out, Francine, anybody who's complaining about the scamming and things like that are either it's one specific, and we can't dwell on one specific product. The other thing that I'm going to say is some of the big scammy items, and I'll give you some examples, like phones and electronics and things like that. Make sure that there is a way that you are taking really good photos. If there's a serial number, or, you can, especially on equipment, you can copy. And let me grab something that I have here in the eBay store. Let me just grab something that's not too large, but I can still show it to you. I don't even know what we have this for sale, but some of this equipment that my dad had, can be kind of pricey, and this is a Heathkit voltage calibrator. And this gives you the model. It comes with the book. And you're going to put as much as the description, number one, down as possible. Plus you're going to take really good pictures of both the book and the machine, right? Really good photos. Get yourself a nice white backdrop, a nice white. Now, some people don't adhere to the eBay. You can use the remove background. I don't want to waste my time with that. I just use white. Some people don't care. They take pictures on their floor. They take pictures, on walls and things like that have things. But at the end of the day, I'm going to take really good pictures of this, right? Noting any, like that little scratch will be in the picture. And then potentially, if there is, now, of course, I picked a machine that I don't see a serial number on the back, but some of them will have a plate. VCRs, DVDs, some of this equipment will have a plate with a serial number and things like that. Hi, Swamp. Welcome in. Make sure you capture that. That's important. Okay, see that little scratch on the back? Number one, you want to make sure that you describe this correctly. And my descriptions, if you go in and look, will also always say, see photos for additional description. That's another thing that I like to do, because you want to make sure that you are including all these little, you don't want it to come back and say, hey, you didn't tell us about that scratch and there's no pictures of the back of the machine. Now, again, somebody who wants this, men especially, sometimes if it's not a collector's item and they just want to use it, they're not going to be too concerned about the condition. But anybody who has this that's broken, and let's say you're selling this as tested and working and not for parts, you definitely want to do the best job you can with describing and photographing everything, including if there is a plate with a serial number. Now, the other thing, and I've done it before, especially with high-end stuff, if you receive a high-end INAD or a high-end return, Robbie stands there with the camera, and I literally make an announcement. Okay, here is the label. I show the label from the return. I say this is the Louis Vuitton pocketbook that they're saying is not authentic. Now, first of all, you won't run into that a lot of times with some of the platforms, because you have to send to an I knew I was going to screw that word off. Authentication site. That happens with some of the platforms, eBay, sneakers, Poshmark, the bags, things like that, where they send them off to be authenticated. You can't even send them directly to the seller. But there are, other items that could come back. And I've heard horror stories about people getting a brick back, a box of rocks back, a box of paper back, whatever the case may be. This hopefully will help you fight your eBay case if that happens, because here you show the package. The return label is the return label that eBay gave them to return. So it should all be in there, and you're showing the opening of this box. So that's another way to kind of get around the scammers. Now, you say, T, I can't film every return. No, and I don't suggest you film every return. Listen, we do a lot of clothes. I keep bringing up the story of the last return we got a couple of weeks ago about the lady insisted there was a stain on these pants, besides the fact that we described the color wrong. Honestly, there was no stain on these pants. I just relisted them. There is no stain on those pants. But I'm not going to fight that. I have free returns. She returned the pants. They're going to go back to sell. I usually increase the price by 2 or 3% just to help out a little bit. Shipping went up now a little bit. I might increase that. And then this way also it does help if I send an offer, it looks like I sent a nice offer. So we'll talk more about that stuff and how you can mediate easy stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I do not want you guys to stress out of seller scams or any of that stuff, because if you are doing the right thing and you are kind of aware that these things happen, then you're not going to set yourself up for it. I'm not saying they can't happen. They absolutely can happen. We've all been a victim of it. It happens. Now, thankfully, thank God, I've really never received a box of stones or paper or anything that was like that, but I have received the wrong item back. I had a $400 item. I don't know if I just was greener at the time, but I didn't take a picture of the serial number, or I couldn't find the picture of the serial number. Long story short, I had to land up refunding the buyer. Then I had another DVD VCR combo, a higher end one, that the buyer took almost the full 4 weeks to return. And at the end of the day, sent it back saying he was away on vacation and his son ordered it. And when I got it back, it was destroyed. I did not refund him his full thing. First of all, it was in a sealed original package box. He not only cut it all open, took all the packing out, but he also taped the box back up with gray duct tape. I mean, it was a mess. It was a beautiful Sony, brand new in the box, original seal with the Sony. I mean, and I think I had that for like $300 or $400. He never barked at it. I think I gave him half plus no shipping in return. And I did land up selling it. It was still a good item to sell, whatever it was. But when you get a certain amount of feedback, it's not very important anymore. Well, Jenny, that being said, if you have hundreds of thousands of feedbacks and you're selling bread and butter items constantly, I can see that. But at the end of the day, it's also your reputation. And I also want to keep my reputation up. So I just, at the end of the day, I'm a stickler about it. I know even Junebug, and again, I had her account up there, and hopefully she's good with that. But, she's got this 99.3, and she's freaking out about that. There's nothing to freak out about at 99.3. Trust me, it's all good. When you're down to 88.3, I'd have a big concern. And there are other things you can do to remediate. Is that the word I want to use? Those feedbacks as well. Sell more, make more offers, and start your store potentially with auctions. If you guys want to get quick feedback, I almost recommend you put 10 auction items up to start with that you really don't care what you get for. Just cover the shipping. Yes, I'm very concerned about feedback. I know you are, June. I know. I like a challenge to me, really. Yes, I get it. We all do, right? We all strive for that. At the end of the day, it's important. So let's say you wanna just grab as much feedback as possible. I would say every 5 to 7 days, list 5 to 10 auction items so that they're ending at different times. You can pick anywhere from a 3-day to a 10-day auction. Some people are a firm believer to start a 10-day auction on a Friday so you capture 2 weekends. I really don't care how you do it in the beginning. Some people say, oh, end it on a Sunday night, end it on a Monday morning, end it this day, end it that day. I don't care. However you guys want to do it, I would just do some bread and butter items. I mean, I can take you over and we can grab some of these items that I have. I'll take the L bin because I see the L bin is literally bursting out with items. Now, again, we do a lot of clothes, and probably most of these clothes are listed on Robbie's, but you may find some of them on mine. I just happen to be behind the clothes here on my other wall, or my magazines, my books, my electronics, and records, and all things like that. All right. Very easy, very simple shirt in here. It's a Grinch, right? So it's a size medium. It's a Dr. Seuss label. I don't know what I have this listed for. Robbie probably listed it. It's a kid's medium, right? So when you go around your house, you look and you say, oh, gee, Johnny is not a medium anymore. He's an extra large. Shirt's in pretty good condition. Throw it in the wash. See how it comes out. Looks good to me. Let's stick it on a hanger behind my white background. Let's take a picture of it. If you guys want to do measurements, you do measurements. If you don't want to do measurements, you can wait for that pesky person to say, what's the chest? What's the length? What's this? What's that? Robbie does do measurements. I don't know what the going sale on this is right now. I'm going to go over and take a look and see what Robbie has this listed for, just because I just want to just give you guys an idea. And actually, I'm not even going to look. I'm just going to search Grinch t-shirt. I probably should have put kids. Let me do kids just to bring it a little. And it probably should have gone on my share, huh? So you guys can see it. I'm sorry. Hold on. That was silly of me. Let me stop this one. Let me present. Let me share screen. Let me go here. All right, so I hit up here, kids, Grinch, t-shirt, and I can get more granular. I can go black. I can go, a lot of Christmas pops up with this. And you see, look, prices are all over the place. We've got prices anywhere from 11 to 5 to 4 to 12, $7.95, $8.95. We got a bunch of different ones here. Now, of course, the best way to go is to go up, actually is to scroll down. If I scroll down, if you guys look over on the left-hand side, you will see this show only, and I can click on the solds, and that's going to show me what's sold. Oh, God, I don't know why that came up with Grinch, but anyway, so this is what they're looking like sold. And believe it or not, a lot of them look like they're selling around $10, right? I don't know. Some of them also look like they might be AI branded. I know that from being on Etsy. Some people make shirts and design them. They shouldn't be selling these if they're not true, authentic merchandise, but they get away with it. Can't say anything about it. All right. Now, it's not really showing you anything about the shirt that I have. Now, I can go kids, Grinch. I can go black tea. Maybe that will help alleviate it. Now, of course, I'm showing solds, but I mean, here's an example of what's similar to that. Mine isn't as wrinkled. They took a best offer of 10. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter, guys. Let me tell you something. This is sitting in your house. Here it actually is. This looks like it. Somebody got $4.99 plus, yeah, see, this person looks like they might even be making this stuff. I don't know. But they sold it. They don't care. They got $4.99 plus $4.38 in shipping. Tells you all about the shirt. And then what you can do is you can come down to the bottom of the listings here. Keep scrolling down. And you guys, sometimes you just got to keep scrolling. It does happen. The phone is easier sometimes not to see all this other nonsense. And how come I don't see it here? All right. For whatever reason, it's not coming up. I don't have this problem on the phone, but usually over here somewhere you will see something that says, oh, here, I forgot. On the computer, it's different. On the computer, it's 100% different, and it says have one to sell, sell now, and that's where you would click on that. And I'm not going to click on it because it's going to create a new listing. But we could do that in a different video. I just wanted to kind of cover the pricing on this. Kevin, do you start with a personal account or a business account? So what I would say, Kevin, in all honesty, is if you don't want to spend a lot of money off the get-go, start with a personal account. List 5 or 6 items. It doesn't matter. You can always convert it over to a business account. You can always convert it over to a store. You don't have to start. You can make it really simple, really inexpensive for yourself, and just take a few items that you have, for example, right, clothes, or maybe you can go source a little bit too if you have the extra funds. I mean, maybe you go over to your Goodwill, you go to a garage sale and you pick up a couple of things. Just don't start out with the stuff. I started with a personal account in 2010, but now I have a store that I pay for monthly. Exactly, Gloria. You don't have to. I unfortunately have been through the school of hard knocks. And when I say that, I mean, I've done a lot of businesses where I have jumped head in, full-fledged, just do everything that I think I need to do, and I've crashed and burned. And now I've learned my lesson over the years that that's not what I want to do. That's why, like with the ice cream business, we're doing everything very slowly, very cautiously, very economically, and we're trying not to jump full-fledged in. Now, hey, if you're sitting on a few $1 million and you don't care and you don't care if you blow a few bucks, that's fine. Well, I say million, but 1,000, 100, whatever you want to say. Regardless, to be honest with you, it's not going to matter. If you jump, head over heels in and you start with an anchor store or an enterprise store and you say, okay, I'm going to list every day and I'm going to list all of this stuff, it doesn't mean you're going to sell it. So why not take a little bit of a baby step and see how it goes? Learn the ropes. Learn. The other thing, and I've said this before, you may not want to sell all different types of items. Now, I do, and a lot of you do, but when I first started out, I did all breakables. Now, that was a big learning curve as well. Packing, shipping, everything comes with a price. Then I switched over to books. I learned everything about antiquarian, collectible, everything about ISBNs, first editions, second printings, all of that stuff. How to do the research, where to go. Some people want to become an expert. Maybe you just want to sell Levi's, right? So you're going to sell every pair of Levi's you're going to know. Now, Levi's can be counterfeit. Levi's can't be sold in every country. These are things that you would want to find out about. The same thing with anything. Maybe you just want to sell games. Maybe you just want to sell pieces of games, toys, vintage 80s, Star Wars. I don't know. Maybe you just want to sell hats. Let me tell you something. Hats are probably the easiest thing to sell. As long as you pack them in a box, nobody's really going to have a problem. People love hats. They love to wear hats, but the market's saturated right now. It's not on an upswing. It's kind of flattened out. But that's something where you really don't have to worry about a lot of returns as far as the clothing aspect of things are concerned. But if you don't pack some of those in a box, you will get complaints and you will potentially get returns. Knock on wood, I've sold a lot of hats. I think in the very beginning, I probably learned my lesson about not sending them in a box because what did I know? Here's a vintage hat that's crushed anyway. Let's just send it in an envelope. But again, things that you learn along the way. Anyway, so there's just so much to cover. And there's so many different things that I could tell you guys to either become a niche store or don't become a niche store. For example, here's something that sells really well, okay? Fishing equipment. Rods, reels, bobs, sinkers. Fishing is a big hobby. Trains are a big hobby. Any sporting, hey, good morning, Sue. Did someone say millions? Hi, Christopher. Hi, my friend. How are you? I hope you're well. So, for example, right? Somebody wants that. Somebody's looking for that, as Donna used to say, right? Weights, bobs, whatever the case may be. Some of the stuff you may have laying around the house. Maybe, maybe you used to fish, maybe dad used to fish, maybe your kids aren't interested, or you have too much of something and you want to sell that. Great. But maybe you want that to be your niche because you know all about it. You know about weights and fishing line and fishing reels and rods, and you're the bass fishing expert. You're the deep sea tuna expert. T, is listing 5 a day just as good as listing 10 to keep you in the algorithm? June, I don't know what the right answer is to that question. Listen, I love to give advice. I love to pretend sometimes that I'm the expert, but I'm not. I'm really not. Christopher, drop your store, by the way. Everyone in this chat, Sue, Gloria, I saw you drop yours. June, I saw you drop yours. Anybody coming in, make sure you share out your stores with everybody, because that's another way to do some homework to see what. Yes, you are. No, I'm not, June. I'm far from the expert. But at the end of the day, you want to maybe become the expert in something. My father is the expert in these machines. So I go to him with all these machines that we're selling because he really knows the insides and outs of this, because this was part of his second career. If I go to a garage sale, I go to an estate sale. Hi, Helen. If I go to a thrift store, anything like that, and I see any of these machines, maybe I take a picture and I send it to Dad. Hey, Dad, is this worth $10? He's the expert, not necessarily me. As you start to grow and as you start to list things, you do become experts in certain things. Like, there are things that if you say, okay, I am going to be the expert in books, right? Well, I know this book says it is 1990, 1994, 1998, and it says on the number line like 3, right? So I know that is a 3rd edition, 3rd printing. How do I know that? It's just because I have studied books. I know books. I can look at a piece of glass and say, okay, it's Murano, it's Lenox, it's Swarovski, it's this, it's that, it's something else. And there are some items sometimes I don't know. I told you guys I have a book and I keep forgetting to bring it. I got to remember to bring it Thursday night for the listing party. But this book is driving me batty. I know it's got to be valuable. I just know it. I just have that deep down gut feeling after doing all these books all these years, but I can't find a damn thing about it. And it happens. There are things sometimes, and there are groups, just so you guys know, if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, if you're on any of the other platforms, there are groups and people that you can ask to get some information about certain things. Paintings, right? I sell a lot of artwork, and I'm not an expert in artwork, but I do try to learn as much as possible about artwork to find out about signatures, if they're lithographs, if they're seriographs, if they're prints, all these things that I try to learn. It's going to take time. Selling on eBay for 20-something years doesn't mean I'm the expert in every category. I'm not. And I don't pretend to be. I just know it's a great platform. I just know how to avoid the scammers. I just know what kind of slippery slopes not to go down. I know how to describe items. I know how to protect myself from sellers who potentially I could be opening myself up to a return if I don't describe something accurately or photograph something accurately. These are all things you learn as you go. That's why for those of you who are just starting and you're concerned about scammers or concerned that you don't have any feedback, there are ways to combat all of that. and you just have to go baby steps. I don't recommend anybody just diving in and starting to list your Murano glass, your Louis Vuittons, and things like that. We'll leave that stuff for Christopher. Christopher has some awesome stuff. You have to check out Christopher's store. And I probably will not speak out of turn, but I'm sure Christopher can probably attest to once or twice him getting a scammer or an attempted scam or some kind of return INAD that they tried to pull the wool over his eyes, but he's too smart for that. And that's what you have to be. Sometimes you just have to be smarter and just pay attention and know what's going on. Again, Kevin and Francine, don't be afraid to start. Just please don't be afraid to start. Just take baby steps. Take it slow. Do not be gung-ho because your aunt left you their ruby, diamond, and sapphire ring in 24 karat gold. You don't want to even bring that anywhere near eBay right now. Maybe ever. But for right now, that's not something you start with. You go for the easy bread and butter stuff and build up your feedback. And the couple of different ways to do it is just scope around the house, look for stuff you're no longer using, and potentially buying some dollar items at, I mean, heck, even the dollar store. Yes, bread and butter items. That's what we like to call them. Things that you aren't making a lot of money on, but you're turning it over, you're covering the shipping, you're getting feedback, packaging, because you've got to learn how to pack as well. Again, you don't want to be throwing this into an envelope. You want to learn about how to protect items. It's like, selling records, selling anything that maybe has to be tested, things like that. Maybe you want to stay away from on day one. You certainly don't want to be, unless you're an expert in records and then you're going to play grade them, which that's another term that I'm sorry if those of you who don't do records don't understand, but that means you have a great techniques turntable and you are listening to all the records and you are play grading them as well. And you could do that and you can play grade the record and the sleeve and include if it has the original dust jacket or a replacement dust jacket. And again, that's just because I've done a lot of records over my time and I've gotten to be a little expertise in that. I'm not a perfect expert. If you want somebody like that, you probably have to go over and see Adam Record Crate or I'm trying to think. Yvonne actually does a lot of records too. Listen to her. This is how she got me started, and I did what I said, and it all worked for me. And Junebug has 1,800 and something items up. Let's go back to Junebug's store. And again, I'm not calling out Junebug, but I just want to show you what the potential is for somebody like yourselves. So Junebug is here. All right, let's just go back to her listing. Here's her active listing. She's got about 1,800. Actually, June, did you sell something while we were going live? So she has 18 different, and this screen kind of tells you what her variations are. She's 3,102 variations, and I'll take a pat on the back for some of that because she is multi-quantity, probably bought some stuff from T. But at the end of the day, if we go to her store, here's her store, Boogaloo Shop. Come on in. She is a store. She did not start out to be a store. She started out probably in an easy, kind of simple fashion. I want to take a look at, let me see what the best way to look at this is. Let me go here for a minute. Is this going to take me? Okay, so here it is. So she's had over 1,000 items sold. She's got 90 followers already, which is great. Her feedback is awesome. Don't let this 0.67 thing be deterrent to you. And here are her 1,793 items. She does a variety of things. Now, I'm going to tell you, when it comes to jewelry like this, June did not start off with this jewelry. Okay. This was not stuff she was selling in her store. Okay. This was stuff she worked up to. When she first started selling, she was selling a lot of her own handcrafted items and some auction, cheaper items that she decided were easier to sell than some of this stuff. Now, we can put some more items on a page up to 72. But as you can see, there's stuff that's new, there's stuff that's old, there's stuff that's used, there's vintage, there's all kinds of things. She chose to kind of be the jack of all stores. You don't have to be that store. Believe me, you don't. Now, June also, and I thought maybe I could find that here, but she could tell us in the chat. Let's see if maybe it's in the About section. Let's see. Okay. So she's a member since 2016, and that's a trick because technically she has not been selling on eBay since 2016, but people don't know that. People don't know that she hasn't been selling since 2016. She wrote a little bit of a bio about this, and she probably could update that. But I do recommend every so often do updating that. She tells you how she sources her items. One thing I would suggest here, June, and we haven't spoken about it, but I do include it in my store. And this is another way that you can kind of avoid some negative feedback. You will want to put a couple of things, whether you do it in your actual store description or you do it under your listing template. Two things that I recommend. Number one is if you are writing that you source items from other sources like thrift stores and yard sales or however you word that, I would also include, or you could just put a verbiage such as items are sourced from multiple locations, cannot guarantee that they were smoke or pet free, because there are people who will ask about smoke free or pet free homes. Now, honestly, some people think they're sly and they go items from a smoke free and pet free home. Now, I could do that. I am a smoke free and a pet free home. However, my items were not necessarily sourced from a smoke-free or a pet-free home. So those are things that you may consider adding either to your listing and or to your store description, that items are sourced from multiple locations, cannot guarantee that the home was smoke or pet-free. Just because of allergies out there. Now, obviously, if you have an item that comes or you buy or you inadvertently get from an estate sale, a lot of these online auctions now, if you buy storage units, and I used to hate the online storage unit business because when I went personally, I could smell the unit. When you buy online, there's no such thing as smell-o-vision. You don't know if there's smoke. You don't know if there's pet hair all over the items. And I have bought all of the above. So sometimes you might want to disclose that. Sourced from a loving pet home. Sourced from a smoker's home. Even if you guys wash the items, there's ways to combat smoking. I'll get into that in another video, but there are plenty of ways. I was up against it with books. Books also have that kind of, I say, library or antiquarian smell to them. There's ways to combat that also. But those are the things you just want to check. Also, some things that you might want to consider in your listings is the comment, I mentioned it earlier if you didn't hear it, is you'll want to say item descriptions or item photos are part of the description. Please look at each photo carefully or something to that effect, because you will have customers buy items and they will have never read the description, and your description says small scuff on the front and the rear. Please see all photos for full description. If you don't write that, you can't fight with eBay on an INAD because you put that in there. So those are just some little tips and tricks that I like to include in there. But there is just so much we could cover. It's already been an hour and 9 minutes, and I feel like I haven't even scratched the surface on all of this. I just found the blow mold Christmas decoration out for cleanup, and it sells. Yes. Blow molds are awesome, Gloria. Christmas blow molds. Figure out the cheapest way if you want to ship, sell them locally. I've sold, actually, before we left Long Island, I had a snowman, a Santa, and a reindeer. Can't remember if there was anything else. Snowman, Santa, reindeer, maybe. Oh, I know. The popcorn ones, too, sell really well. I had 2 vintage popcorn ones. If you guys haven't seen them, they're window decorations, and they kind of look like popcorn. Vintage. Some of them are repops. You got to be careful with those as well. They sell really well. It happened the other day. Wanted the inseam measurement, and it was in the description. Yes, you'll get that a lot with clothing. All the time. On a weekly basis, Robbie or I will get a question about what's the inseam, what's the length, what's this, what's that, and there's photos right there of all the measurements. One of the reasons, though, I do like to do the measurements, because then you do avoid some of those questions. Again, clothes are not the easiest to list, but they are the easiest to sell. And they are bread and butter items most of the time, you know, unless you have some kind of high-end clothing. And again, I don't recommend you guys getting into any kind of high-end clothing right now until you get your feet wet. There's so many different niches you can do in clothing as well. You can kind of niche your store into bridal gowns or bridal maid and mother of the bride, or you know, maybe your local. A lot of things go out of business. If you guys are sitting on any kind of cash right now, you are in such a great position. Scrub tops. Yes, Sue, I sell a lot of scrub tops. Nurses always looking for different things, especially pediatric, neonatal, things like that. Shout out to Robin, Vintage Memories, who is an RN in those departments. And those are great scrub tops to pick up. You probably can find them at your local garage sale, estate sales, things like that, where somebody, you know, has a drawer full in the room of Tweety Bird, Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, all of this stuff that they wear to brighten up a kid's day. They might have rainbows, they might have sunshine, but even just regular scrub tops sometimes just sell really well depending on the brands. You guys can do your searches on brands and things like that. Sometimes I lot them up. I'll sell, you know, 4 size 6s together. Maybe they only sell for $4 or $5 a piece, but if I lot them all up together, I've got a $20 sale with $7, $8 in shipping, and under $30, they have 4 new scrub tops, and they're happy as you know what. So what is your protocol of preparing clothing? Wash or iron? I iron nothing, Junebug, to be honest with you. I don't even own an iron or an ironing board, hence you know that. And I have yet to buy an iron. I just don't. I watch what our vet techs wear in the clinic. Oh, that's a good point too. Dogs, cats, reptiles, all of that stuff. Think about that stuff. Again, that could be your niche. You're going to sell all different types of scrub tops for pediatricians or veterinarians or their staff. Think about all of those things. There's just so many items that you can really become the expert in. And if you get to know the brands, you get to know what sells better. You get to know your price points. You get to know I can buy this scrub top for $2 because it's Tweety Bird and it's this brand, and they're going to buy this for $15 every day of the week. So I'll lot this up with the Bugs Bunny one I had, and I spent $4 and I made $30, right? Who knows? I'm just giving you guys examples. But at the end of the day, Okay, yeah. The washing, I wash everything. It's just the way we are for the most part, unless it's new with tags or some other, anomaly to it. Uh, Bought out the Sears store, never washed any of it, even if it had stains. Brian stuff, right? Had new with tags, but some of it was stained. Sold it with the stains, did not wash it. You could take the tags off. You could try to wash it, try to put the tags back on. Never works out right. For whatever reason, it looks wash, it feels wash. Jim Williams, good morning, good morning. Awesome. Things like that. But I do honestly try to wash certain items. Now, there are items that are new without tags. Don't necessarily wash those either. If it comes from a smoke-free home, I'm definitely going to wash them. There are other ways to do it. You can put things in a bin with dryer sheets. You can spin them in the dryer with dryer sheets. There are ways to get around some of that. Pat D's, what's going on? So those are just some things. But again, we've only touched upon the surface of a lot of these. So if there's a topic or if there's something you want to see, let me know. So let's talk really quickly about what's going to happen this week, what I'm requesting from you guys, if you want to be involved. And I was going to make a video, but I'm not going to make a video. I'm going to ask you to make the comment here in this video. I am going to ask you to adhere to what I am saying. If anybody wants Tee, 5,300 plus subscribers here, Tee, to sell your items here on YouTube as a buy it now. We're not doing any auctions this way. We're doing buy it nows this way, either individual items or lots of items. Put together a video for me of 1 to 5 to 10 items in, again, lots. I thought you had laugh out loud. Oh, okay. That huge garage can hold a lot. Yeah, well, it needs to hold 2 cars, so we won't go there right now, Patrick. But I am going to offer out for the first, I was going to make it 5. Let's make it 10. The first 10 people who comment me in this chat here, I will opt you in for $5. Okay. And this is what I'm offering. Provide me with a video, either one you make for your own YouTube channel, one you just make on your phone. Well, you have to make it on your phone anyway. So I would make it on your phone and upload it to your YouTube channel and or also send it to me. Give me the rights to it. You have to say, Tee, you can run this video. I give you full permission. And I will feature it in a buy it now Tee auctions for you video selling your items. Okay. Whatever you get, you keep. I get $5. Okay. That's the deal. You can send me it however you want to send me it. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle. Obviously, I prefer, the platforms that take nothing out of it. But if you can only send it PayPal, you send it PayPal. Do not send it friends and family. But Zelle, Cash App, Venmo, this is, you could just send it. All of those links are in the description below. Send me the video. I will feature your video this week, and I will shout you out. I will tag all of your information, your eBay store, your Mercari store, your Poshmark store, your whatnot, your YouTube, any social media platform that you have. If you have a Facebook group, a Facebook page, and I will say, I will put your email address in there for someone to email you for the item. So I'll just give you an example. Let's say you're selling this machine, okay? And you want $5 plus shipping. You do a video with this and whatever else you're selling. Hi guys, I'm selling this Heathkit voltage calibrator. This is item number 1. I have the book for it. It's included. It's a buy it now. Item number 1, $5 plus shipping, right? Unless you guys want to include shipping, I'm leaving the shipping completely up to you guys. Guys, I am just asking for a favor. The first person that screws me over and does not ship items out if they're sold, I've got to remove you from my page. I got to remove you from the advertising, and you lose your $5. I have to have reliable people selling here. I cannot have my reputation scorched because you didn't ship an item, because you didn't follow through. This is really important. Now, in your video, you can say, it takes me 2 days to invoice and 3 days to ship. However you want to word it, I don't care. Once you break that rule and somebody comes to Tee and complains, you're gone. I'm sorry. I have a reputation to uphold, and I hope you guys know that you have a reputation to uphold. If not, this could be a great thing. Who knows? We're going to try it out. That's why it's so cheap to jump in first time out. You can sell anywhere from 1 to 10 items or 1 to 10 lots. Make the video on your phone if you don't have a YouTube. I will also go over how to upload it into YouTube next time and potentially help you guys create a YouTube channel as well. As some of you know how to do it, some of you don't. Up to you if you want to include it on your YouTube channel. I will certainly promote your YouTube channel as well. I will put in the description of this video how exactly to structure this so you guys have more direction. I know this is a little bit of a quick overview, but if anybody's interested in that and you have items you need to either sell individually or sell in lots because you just want to purge stuff and you just want to bring it to the audience, you're going to be technically on my channel offering it out to 53 plus 100 people, and I will run it on all my platforms, including my Facebook, YouTube, Auctions for You group, my Instagram, and my Twitter feed as well. So if you want to do it, just do it and send me the video and the $5, and I'll get you. It's going to be first come, first serve. So the first person to send me the video is going to be the first one featured on the channel. And I'm going to do at the beginning of the video a little introduction. Hi, everyone. It's Tee. Oh, and you guys do not have to be on camera. You can certainly turn your camera around, turn your phone around, and just shoot on a black, blank white background and shoot the video and never have to be seen. Up to you if you want to do it face to face or you want to do it faceless. I'll leave that completely up to you guys. I will come on at the beginning of everybody's video and say, hi, it's Tee. I'll use Junebug as an example. Junebug has 10 items she wants to sell today. Her email's in the description below. Please email her with the item number because you guys are going to have the item 1 through 10 or lots 1 through 10. And please email her with the item number and your information, meaning your email address, your address, so that she can invoice you and send your items. So I will explain all that in the description below and on every video that I do. Hi, Cindy. How are you, sweetheart? You came in late. Okay. So this is how I'm offering auctions on a buy it now right now. So if you guys want to purge items, since I have a larger YouTube audience of, 5,300 plus, I'm going to do video auctions where I will feature. Now I might feature more than one of you. We'll see how it goes. This is going to be a learning curve for all of us. That's why I'm only charging $5 a person right now. And we'll see how it goes. If it works, and people, Tee's taking me out of my comfort zone. Hey, Gloria, it's worth a shot. You don't have to be on camera. You do not. Some people do not want to be on camera. You just turn your phone around and you record everything on your backgrounds, just like you take pictures on eBay. And I don't mind even if at the end of the recording, you want to say, hey guys, Here's my eBay store. Here's my Poshmark store. Here's my Mercari store. But I will also include it in the description of the video so that you guys get full advertising, including, again, on Auctions for You Facebook page, on my Twitter feed, and on my YouTube channel. What else did I forget? Oh, Instagram. And my Instagram. So I will put it across all platforms. So you know what? I have a lot of high-end, like a lot of people on Instagram follow me that you'd be surprised to, but there's some high-end buyers there. I'm not going to throw anybody out there, but you know, people who are always looking to source from different items. So if you're looking to get rid of a lot of Christmas items, let's just say you put a whole lot out there and you say, all right, this lot of Christmas items, I just want to purge. I'm offering it for $15 and plus shipping. And this is lot number 3 or item number 3, however you want to kind of set it up. I hope that makes sense. But Cindy, you've got to put at the end of the video, just put at the end of the video me and send me a video. I'm going to put the description in this video as soon as it ends so that you guys understand it better. And I'm just, as they come in, I'm going to record an intro like this saying, hi, it's T. Today we're featuring Cindy, Nostalgic Realm. Here's her items, and I'm just going to cut to the video. So it's going to be your responsibility also to say, this is lot 1 or item 1. This is lot, you can call this a lot. I'm okay with this. This is lot number 1. This is lot number 2. And then maybe you put a whole thing together and this is lot number 3. However you guys want to do it. From 1 to 10 items. You want to sell one item for $4,000 and you want to pay me $5 to advertise it for you? Great. If it sells, the money's all yours. I just need $5. Okay. So however you want to structure it, it's completely up to you guys. Some of you have a bin full of death pile stuff where you say, oh my God, I know these bags sell really great, but I just don't have time to list them. Let me sell all of these as a lot. Nope, I know somebody wants this personal Louis Vuitton bag. Guys, it's got to be real. That's the other thing. Don't let me find out you're selling anything fake. I don't want to hear, oh, well, I disclosed that it's fake. It has to be authentic. And I honestly will scrutinize those videos because I got to watch my reputation. I don't want to be the person that, selling fake items on her site. So please make sure your items are real and authentic. A lot of people say things like, but I told them it was fake. It's illegal. You're not allowed to sell fake items. So please keep that in mind. Okay. TB and corporate. All right. But guys, I love you. Thank you so much. Look for the description in the video. Put a comment. The first 10 people that put a comment, I will reserve their spots. But I'm also going to put a time frame on the video of 1 week. 1 week. If you don't send me a video in a week, I'm going to open it up again next week when we run this coffee and tea. And I'm going to say, listen, I have 2 more spots. Somebody didn't send me the video. If you want to be included, put your comments below. We will also next week talk a little bit more about eBay. If there's any questions or concerns about things you want to see that we didn't cover today, or you want me to go more in depth on something, please let me know. Please say, T, can you show that again? Or something that I didn't really explain. Great. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Time to go out. I'm sweating like a pig out here. It's so hot already. We're going to sell ice cream. It's beautiful out. Love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.